Moses is evidence that God will send you back. He spends 40 years in Egypt, but he's got to leave Egypt because he keeps getting triggered in Egypt. Because I'm not quite Hebrew, I'm not quite Egyptian, and when I see the Hebrews, I get upset with the Egyptians, but the Hebrews won't accept me. He's torn in between these different identities, and so instead of staying there in the tension of the triggers, he leaves. And that's okay too. Because there are some moments where in order to truly heal, you do need to avoid the triggers that keep pulling you back. Sometimes you do need to change your playlist. Sometimes you do need to change the way you interact with others, especially when you're in a season where you're trying to figure out, who am I really? But after he's been in Midian for 40 years, the Lord appears to him. And the Lord appears to Moses with one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to send him back to the place where he was triggered. But this time, when he goes back, he's not going back the same. He's going back with an encounter that empowers him to be who God has called him to be. That's real good to me. Some of us want to go back to the place where we experience pain without an encounter. And that's why we get hurt and wounded again, because we haven't been empowered to really deliver ourselves or others. And so we go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. But you can have an encounter with God that empowers you in such a way that when you go back, you don't have to worry about actually going back, because I'm not here to stay, I'm here to deliver. I'm not here to go back to who I used to be. I'm here to see if anybody wants to grow with me. I'm here to see if anybody wants to evolve with me. I'm here to see if anybody else wants to break out of this prison. I'm here to see if anyone else wants to be broken out of this oppression. When Moses goes back, he has to know within himself that I'm not the same person who left. And because I'm not the same person who left, when I go back, I got something to deliver that I could have never delivered had I stayed. I could have never, I don't know who that is for, but I hear like God is saying that there are some people who had to leave. But just because you had to leave, it doesn't mean that you have to stay gone. That sometimes God sends you back to a place after you have had an encounter that can stretch the capacity for what's possible for the people you left behind. I know we live in a culture, in society, where we think we have to leave everyone behind, but I'm here to let you know that sometimes you only leave them behind for a moment. And when you go, oh God, I feel like preaching in this place. When you go back to where you left, the people you left are not the same people you left anymore. You think they're stuck in their old ways, but baby, just like you changed, they changed. They're ready for something different. They're hungry for something beyond where they have been restricted. They want to know that there is a promised land somewhere out of there. I want to talk to somebody with survivor's guilt, because you are the one who got away. You are the one who changed everything. And I hear God saying you're the lone survivor for now, but you're only the lone survivor until I turn you into the deliverer. When I turn you into the deliverer, you will not be the only survivor any longer, because I'm going to send you back to unlock what's on the inside of them. I'm going to send you back to make them hungry for what happened to you. I'm going to send you back with an encounter and a revelation that shows them there's something better than this. There's a different way of being. There's a different way of proceeding. There's a different way of building a marriage. There's a different way of making money. There's a different way of building ministry. There's a different way of loving your wife. There's a different way of loving your husband. I don't know what you escaped from, but I hear God saying that you got to leave the door open. And sometimes you're going to be the Harriet Tubman of your family, the Harriet Tubman of your community, the Harriet Tubman of your generation, the Harriet Tubman of your school. I gotta send you back